Right, hello everybody. I just thought I'd do a quick video on, sorry, I'm just trying to get my camera. It doesn't matter, you don't need to see me anyway. So this is a video on dog interaction. So there's a chain of interaction with your dogs. I'm looking at my computer and you can see that, and the camera's over there. It's just something I'm used to doing. So when they greet a dog, there's a chain of events that happens. So sometimes, obviously, it's not always 1 to 5. Sometimes there are different ways that your dog will greet the other dog. But generally, particularly if you're walking and another dog's coming the other way, it's going to be this. So number 1 is seeing the dog in the distance. So that's the first part of the chain of interaction. If you have a reactive dog, quite often that's the point where the reactions happen, and the approach can be, oh, what are you doing there? It's okay, I'm holding it, yes. And the approach can be quite scary for the dogs because obviously it's getting closer, so distance is decreasing, and the dog is thinking to herself, right, I'm not comfortable with this. The dog's coming closer, so you see rises in arousal levels, perhaps a little bit more barking, you might see some lunging and behaviours around there. So this is part of the reactivity plan that I do with you, is we look at this as well. So see, approach, then they greet nose to nose. So watch your dog when he sees another dog. Generally you'll see this. So nose to nose, then they move round to the rear, so they do some bum smelling. There's a lot of information that they give off on their bums about the other dog, so age, where they are in the sexual cycle, lots of different stuff about the dog, about the dog's mannerisms, whether they're calm or not. There's lots and lots of information that the dogs get from their bottom. Then they'll either play with each other or they'll disengage. Thank you, Bertie, you're just covering everything up. Or they'll disengage and move on, depending on the dog, depending on the greeting, depending on whether they know each other, depending on whether they're bothered by each other, will determine what happens then. So quite often you want the disengagement, sometimes you want the play, it depends on the situation. Now reactivity occurs when there's a break in any part of this chain. So as I say, the sight and approach are quite often the ones where you'll see that behaviour happening. But sometimes, and Bert has done this a fair few times, not many, I could probably count on my hand the amount of times he's done it, where he has been okay to greet a dog nose to nose, but there's been a break in that chain then, and all of a sudden he'll have a snap. He did it to a very young dog not so long ago. It was my fault. I'd taken him out at about 5 o'clock, a time when I was feeding him at 5. He gets a bit wound up around that time because he thinks he's going to get his dinner, so he's always a little bit more hyper around other dogs when I take him out at that time. So it was my own fault. I shouldn't have let him greet the dog. I'd let him greet the dog because he's met it before and been okay with it. So I thought he'd be okay, but he did the nose to nose. He saw it, had a little bark, he wasn't too bad. He approached it again, not too bad. He had the nose to nose, and then all of a sudden he just literally, you know, went from 0 to 60 and had a go at the dog on the nose. That's probably more to do with disengagement. He couldn't disengage from the nose to nose point to move around to the rear. So we'd have to work on disengagement really there. And then the move to the rear. Some dogs actually don't like their bums being sniffed. That's quite common. I've known that before. So that's something to be aware of during your dog and dog interaction. Of does the other dog comfortable with that? Because if they're not, you could get some issues on that bit. And sometimes if one dog wants to play and the other dog wants to disengage and not play, you can get some problems there as well. So not just your dog, you've got to be aware of the other dog and their intention and what they're comfortable with, which is why it's really handy to know about communication and behaviour. So I have got a communication and behaviour webinar that people can buy. I can't put it on the website at the moment because I've got no way of people paying for it and downloading it with the software that I've got at the moment. I am in the process of changing that. Hopefully that will be done within the next couple of weeks. So yeah, that is the chain of events that dogs know and understand, regardless of your dog, regardless of their breed, regardless of their age, regardless of their previous history, whether they've been rehomed, kept in a breeding place for its life, no socialization. This is in their brain. They know how to do it. That is how they'll approach other dogs. If that isn't happening, then there's breaks in the chain and your dog will need some help to overcome them. And it, as I say, can happen at any point. Some dogs go from that to try and go down to that one. And then the other dog might get a little bit, oh, that's too much because I haven't been through that interaction. Some dogs get stuck there, some dogs get stuck there. Some dogs can't do that bit and might move. You know, there's skips through the whole of the chain, but that is the chain from start to finish on greeting dogs. So yeah, have a look at your dog, watch them. You'll see that is actually what they do, especially the nose to nose and the move to the rear. So yeah, just thought it would be quite handy for you to know what it is. All right, any questions? Then please do get in touch.